G'day guys, Jay Sini here and welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth Channel. And recently I hired a Tesla, so we're going to have a chat about that. Okay, so very recently I went up to the Gold Coast. I was doing a bit of film work up there and I thought it would be a great opportunity as I need to hire a car that I would go and hire a Tesla. So in this video, I'm gonna have some of my thoughts about Tesla and what separates it from a lot of other car companies, some of the things that were really good, some of the things that were a bit different, and we're gonna go from there. So before we get started, please make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. So yes, as I said, recently I was up on the Gold Coast doing a bit of filming, and the first thing I noticed when I was trying to hire a Tesla was how difficult it was to actually get hold of one. You know, they're still quite rare in Australia. So if you're looking to hire one, it might be difficult, especially depending on which city you're in. In the Gold Coast, I managed to do it, which was great. But I think if you were somewhere else, outside of one of the biggest cities like the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, you know, you might struggle a little bit. So this Tesla that I had was a Tesla Model 3 and I had it for 2 days up on the Gold Coast. So this was a standard range one, so it's kind of the base model that you can get as far as Tesla cars go. So one of the first things that I noticed when I jumped into the Tesla for the first time and put my foot on the accelerator was how quiet it is. Obviously being electric, it doesn't have any of that noise that you get from an ICE vehicle, you know, the diesel or petrol engines. It was incredibly quiet. So after putting my foot on the accelerator and driving for a little bit, probably the next thing that I noticed straight after that was the regenerative braking. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with what this is, when you take your foot off of the accelerator, it automatically goes into a regenerative braking mode where the car automatically starts to brake. And this is to help get a little bit of extra juice into the battery. And at the beginning, I found this feature really strange, but it didn't take long at all before it actually starts to become a lot more intuitive than what you would expect. Most of the time, I didn't even have to put my foot on the brake to stop at lights or to slow down when cars were coming in front. So it's actually quite intuitive. Even like when you're at the traffic lights, most times you have to have your foot either on the clutch or on the brake if you're in a normal car. In a Tesla, however, I didn't have to have my foot on the brake at all. It just sits there. So it sounds weird to start with, but it actually makes a lot more sense when you're driving. And especially with cornering, you don't have to put your foot on the brake unless it's something a little bit more extreme. So once I managed to get out on the highway a little bit more, one of the other things that I noticed was the acceleration. And of course, Teslas are known for pretty awesome acceleration, and you know, even with this being the base model, I can say that this was absolutely no different. And basically everyone that I showed that I had in the car with me was incredibly surprised. So I could only imagine how amazing the acceleration would be on some of the higher end models. So I was having a great time playing with all the controls and just getting used to the feel of the car. Drives really well, handles really well, and then I found the autopilot system. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the Tesla Autopilot, basically what it does is it drives for you. This particular model doesn't have the full self-driving, but the autopilot is capable of speeding up, slowing down, staying in lane, steering, a lot of different things. So it was actually quite remarkable. It felt really weird at first to relinquish control of the car to the car. Because you know it's not something that I'm used to at all. But after a little while, it started to become really natural. You know, it just took a little bit of getting used to, especially on corners and seeing the car start to turn. It's quite intuitive in a lot of ways. I think there's some room for it to continue improving. Now, one of those areas is probably looking a little bit further forward. I'm not sure how Tesla will be able to do this, but there's things like when I'm driving that I notice a little bit further up the road, which I can react to a bit sooner. The autopilot takes a little bit longer to react to that. If it's something that's kind of in the immediate vicinity, it's quite quick, and you know, there were no issues in regards to coming close to any crashes or anything like that. But I think it'd be great for the autopilot to be able to look a little bit further ahead, you know, a few cars ahead rather than just one or two. So there's a full self-driving preview that's on the car, and this recognizes traffic lights, people, cones, all shapes of cars and trucks, as well as the lines on the road, and you can see it displayed in real time. So one of the other advantages of this particular model of electric car is that it doesn't have an engine that takes up a lot of room in the front of the car like most ICE vehicles do. Now that means that you have extra space. So you've got quite a big trunk, which is quite roomy, and you've also got what they call a frunk, which is a front trunk. So there's heaps of room even in just a medium-sized car. So the range on this wasn't too bad. Over the course of the weekend, I did a little bit of driving between the Gold Coast and Brisbane. I had to recharge that at the supercharging station up in Fortitude Valley. And this took about 30 minutes, so that was fine. I just went for lunch. But you know, if you're going on longer trips and you know, you need to get there, then you know, this might start to become a little bit of a problem. You know, the range is always improving, so I guess we can see an increase in that over time. So the interface is quite intuitive after you have a little bit of a play with it. Everything's adjustable from the screen, which is really cool. There's a lot of games on there like solitaire and whatever. So that's a bit of fun. But yeah, my overall thoughts, it was such a fantastic car to drive. And really my reason for testing out the Model 3 and the Tesla cars in general was to see whether it was worth keeping my Cybertruck pre-order. And after trying out the Tesla Model 3 for the weekend, absolutely. I can't go back now, so I'll be keeping that Cybertruck on pre-order, and hopefully that's not too far away. So I'd be keen to hear about your thoughts of the Tesla cars. If you've driven one or whether you're really keen to drive one, please let me know in the comments. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps to get these videos out to more people. In the future, I'd really love to drive a few other models of Teslas, you know, the Model S, the Model X, and of course the Cybertruck when it arrives at my front door. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you later.